Okay. Prediction a few days after the draft. It is Tuesday, May 2nd.
Yeah.
Is Broderick Jones going to
like
win the starting tackle out of camp?
So I don't want to set myself up to not lose this. I will give you an actual prediction, but I just want to set the table from both sides here.
Okay,
because
so you're gonna Richie Bradshaw the game and just talk your way around it and then give an answer I'm not expecting.
That's always so good. I think I brought up how much tackles can struggle in their rookie seasons already. I think that you kind of have to live and learn with that for those guys to get better. Like they got to take their lumps, in my opinion, at the NFL level. And we've seen teams be willing to let guys do that. Because it's the Steelers and because it's Tomlin, I think that's why the door's a little bit more open for that to not be the case. I think they're always just going to play the best player. And I know that Dan Moore is not going to be a better player than Broderick Jones for very long, if at all. But when the season first opens up, I could see a world where Tomlin views Dan Moore as the best option to start the season. So that to me is the only caveat. If I really have to make a prediction on it, which I said I was going to, I will say Broderick Jones is the starter.
I will too. I think that
but
he will
you
be
get
the
what I'm
better tackle
saying.
out of camp. Yeah, no, I fully understand it. It's kind of like the debate that we had, or not really debate, the thought that we had on Mitch Trubisky starting last season over Kenny Pickett. Like, obviously not the exact same, but pretty similar. Like, and
look at what they did.
Sense.
So that would almost be the case for Dan Moore too.
Yeah. So I think he wins it out of camp, but would it surprise either of us if Dan Moore started? No. And that's where Steeler fans probably, like you said, need to temper expectations. This guy isn't going to be a Pro Bowl tackle from day one just because he was a first-round tackle.
I mean, if
by the way, first lineman the Steelers taken in the first round since David DeCastro, which was the 2011 draft, I think.
Yeah.
So 12 years, pretty long time. But yeah, I think that this will be his job to lose, honestly, in my opinion. I think if I'm the Steelers, I'm looking at it, Broderick Jones is the starting tackle going into camp. Give me a reason why you're not the starting tackle is what I'll be watching for.
Yeah, that will be interesting. And it's also like, hey, this could be a good thing for Dan Moore. Maybe because you get the best out of you bring in a first-round pick as competition now. I mean, if that doesn't light a fire, there's nothing that will. So because we haven't seen Moore play on the right side. We have seen Chooch play on the left side. I feel like you could almost create, competition at both those spots and say, okay, two of you guys are going to be starters and give them reps on both sides. I think you want to find a comfort level there because some guys can't. We talk about it all the time. Like, people might think it's just a natural transition. It's not. Like, the footwork is so different on the left side than opposed to the right side. So maybe those guys aren't going to be able to play both, but we know that Chooch has played both. I believe Dan played both at some point in college, and Broderick only has 1 year at left tackle, so he's played other spots. So I wouldn't close the door on it, is what I'm saying, is to say both these tackle spots are open. We got three guys here that we feel okay about going into camp, winning starting positions. Which two of you is it going to be?
Okay. Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it's Chooch staying on the right side, and it's Broderick Jones on the left side, and Dan Moore becomes probably a pretty solid swing tackle.
Yeah, I agree with that. And look at how quickly, obviously they have to play together, but look at how quickly, look at the 2021 offensive line to what we project the 2023 offensive line.
Yeah.
How quickly it could turn around. There's only one starter that would be the same. Yeah, no, 2021, because that was even worse.
Yeah, since then, you got Mason Cole and Daniels last year. You got Samalo, even Herbate is like the swing interior guy. Yeah, I mean, you could be looking at it as just Chooks as the turnover, and it's crazy. It's like how long the fact that he's lasted. Clearly, the coaching staff feels much better than him than most of the fan base does. He's a baseline starter, in my opinion. Certainly could be upgraded upon, but you don't want to. I think he's just always been a product of fortune in that they don't want to turn over everybody. He's just been that one consistent for them. So
well, that, and I think that Tomlin has used this quote before. He doesn't kill him. Like he doesn't kill the line. There's been other players that have played a lot worse. He's been available and he hasn't really killed them. Sure, he's not perfect, but he's been a serviceable starter.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens.